seen he was from Dallas.
What business is it of yours? Where I'm from? Friendo.
The Coen Brothers are certainly some of the most influential writers, directors of this particular generation. They've seemed to be able to move seamlessly between genre without losing the idiosyncrasies that make Coen Brothers films, and that's an impressive feat in an era of homogenization in film. However, one aspect of their work that has been talked about 1,000 times, and is one of the staples of their talent and abilities, is their capacity for understanding, maintaining, and creating tension and suspense, especially when that potential manifests in the deepest of human emotions. But I'm going to talk about it once more. In the context of this, what makes this scene from No Country for Old Men so scary? Now, there's not a chance I'm going to go as far as calling this horror, and the Coen Brothers are certainly not horror directors. But it's hard to argue that this scene isn't just as terrifying as something you'd get in a more dialogue-driven horror film. Now, Anton Chigurh is not a horror character, and he's certainly not running around like Michael Myers, Jason, or Freddy Krueger. But grounded in reality, it's arguable that he creates the same emotions. So let's delve deep into the mechanics of this now iconic coin flip scene and deconstruct just what makes it so scary. Released in 2007, No Country for Old Men is a minimalist neo-western based on the 2005 novel of the same name written by Cormac McCarthy. The film is a stripped-down, seething analysis and subversion of the tropes of classic westerns and crime stories, played out over the backdrop of 1980s West Texas. The film follows a group of characters who are all pitted against one another in a life-or-death game of cat and mouse. The scene in question here starts with an establishing shot of a Texaco gas station, located deep in the wilds of the Texas desert. If you've ever been to Texas, you know that in large stretches of Texas, there's essentially nothing. Take a drive from San Antonio to El Paso, you'll see a barren, flat landscape with nowhere to stop, and only the barren beauty of the sand to keep you company. Inside the Texaco, we see the proprietor, who is framed against the window, with the bright Texas sun outside and smiley face stickers behind him, only to add to the character's innocence. That vast Texas landscape adding to that feeling of isolation and what we quickly realize might be vulnerability. Despite being day, the store is only dimly lit, with lots of shadow and contrast. There's only one key light on the proprietor and Chigurh from outside the window, increasing that ominous feeling. Credit Master Director of Photography and longtime Coen Brothers collaborator Roger Deakins for that murky atmosphere. Initially, we see the proprietor as nonchalant, looking everywhere but up, oblivious to who is in his store. And so this starts as any normal, pointless, unimportant transaction would. Chigurh isn't there to rob the place, just to get some gas. Until this inquiry about the weather.
Y'all getting any rain up your way?
It's here that things shift. The most basic and innocuous past-the-time standard conversation starter inadvertently puts the gas station's owner in danger. Normally, conversation like this is light, quick, and meaningless. It's harmless. But Chigurh isn't harmless, and he doesn't see this as harmless. He's now suspicious of the proprietor. Chigurh's life governed by a hyper-specific code. This guy's now in the way. See, Chigurh's all about secrecy. He's a pragmatic killer who is careful with everything he does and tries to stay one step ahead of everyone else. In order to make sure he stays ahead, he utilizes violence to his advantage. And in Chigurh's eyes, this man, knowing he's from Dallas, might know too much. At least that's the prevailing theory. Chigurh is now sizing the proprietor up. We as the audience have already seen who Chigurh is, and we know what he's capable of. In the first 5 minutes of No Country, we are introduced to him and his remorseless way of dispatching people. The way in which he strangles his police officer is brutal. It's unsettling to see someone who is not beholden to social norms and laws, someone who can stand up in the middle of a police station and strangle an officer in broad daylight without hesitation. To add another layer of intensity to this particular moment, there's a level of self-gratification that washes over Anton Chigurh after his arresting officer takes his last breath, which tells us that this is a character who is not only compelled to kill, but actually enjoys it, at least to some degree. Every attempt for the proprietor to alleviate the situation just buries him deeper and deeper in this scene, especially knowing what we know about that last scene. Despite how nice the proprietor is, he is not exempt from Chigurh's violence. You can see the old man quickly realize Chigurh is dangerous, so all the niceties begin to fall away to that vulnerability we mentioned. At the same time, he's also just as quickly divulging information to a killer. The fact that he lives in the house in the back of the station, and that it's just him and his wife who live there, as the audience, you want to yell at the guy to stop talking. And part of that is because, like all their movies, the Coens do a great job of casting people who fit the region, but embody the Coen quirk. And unlike some other Coen Brothers films, there's no bait and switch here. They're not going to make a hero out of this guy. This is who he is. He's a vulnerable old man who is outmatched on almost every level by this predator. This mismatch makes the audience feel so powerless and so helpless almost immediately, and creates, a sense of terror. Because you know what can happen. Murphy's Law, you're all but certain it will. This is a guy who Chigurh has already identified as a man who has always done what he's told, never made ripples. As he puts it,
You've been putting it up your whole life. You just didn't know it.
Chigurh knows who this man is in the game of life. You feel bad for the guy as a result, but Chigurh does not see anyone as innocent. To him, this is all about fate, and this is where the coin toss comes in.
What's the most you ever lost on a coin toss?
Sir?
The moment Anton flips the coin, we know what it's for. We know that this is life or death, and we know that because we have seen this character impulsively and brutally murder 2 people so far, the gas station attendant might be next. And he doesn't know this. He understands there may be danger, but he doesn't understand the gravity of that danger. Up until this moment, this has all been underplayed sonically. There's been no music. The Coen just let the moment sit, but now there's the stirring of strings playing very low as Chigurh tells him about the coin, heightening the tension, parlaying the importance of this toss. For Chigurh, this is arbitrary. Life is either a yes or no, black or white, heads or tails. As long as you are living, you are bound to this coin toss. That's how Chigurh makes sense of the world. All of this plays into a very real American anxiety, that violence could arise anywhere for something mundane, that life is bound by chance.
Call it.
Call it.
Yes.
For what?
Just call it.
There is a ritualistic feel to this, almost as if he's done this before. In fact, this whole scene is set up like a coin toss from the get-go. If we think of the counter as the coin itself, and Chigurh and the gas station attendant as heads and tails, we can see the dichotomy between these 2 characters ebb and flow as Chigurh decides between murdering this innocent man and, not. This coin started flipping the moment Chigurh walked into the gas station, and now it has landed and a decision must be made. There's almost a mythological grandiosity to this coin toss, like a game the gods of Olympus would play with a mortal to demonstrate some type of philosophical point. It's a small moment, it's just 2 tiny words, but it feels enormous. And boom.
Well done.
Just like that, tension lifted. The tone of the entire scene changes the moment it's revealed that the man called the coin correctly, almost as if nothing ever happened. This is the Coen Brothers releasing the audience. An audience has been held underwater for the last 4 minutes, finally getting a chance to breathe. He reprimands the man one final time for putting this coin of death into his pocket, which is just another example of this character's makeup, instructing him to keep the quarter as if it's some kind of trophy he'll never truly understand. The cost of this man's life potentially being worth 1 quarter from 1957, nothing more, nothing less.
Don't put it in your pocket, it's your lucky quarter.
Where do you want me to put it?
Anywhere not in your pocket. Or it'll get mixed in with the others and become just a coin.
And Chigurh is off. This whole song and dance is, ironically, without song or dance. No intricate camera moves, no heavily stylized lighting choices, no score composed by an industry legend. The Coens show us here that those elements are not completely necessary to create something, terrifying in this case, but mostly something great, something important. The Coens are teaching something very, very, very simple here, which is strip down everything and make sure what you have is great and only add on if you need to. And if you need to, ask yourself, why do I need to? Because most of the time, the greatest moments in film, in art, and really any medium come down to the bare essentials of what makes that medium work, like we have here. Now that's not to say underlying beautiful moments in a film aren't amazing, or stylized lighting doesn't tell a story, but it's when those things are necessary that they elevate the moment. And it's when they're not that they distract from the moment, or worse yet, cover up a moment that maybe isn't all that good to begin with. So next time you're watching something or reading something or really engaging with art in any medium, take a look at it. Take a look at it when it's not working and ask yourself, what about it isn't? Would it be better if something was taken away from it? Or better yet, watch when something is and ask yourself how adding something might make it better. If you can answer both of those questions in both of those moments, you will immediately be a better artist from then on out. Well guys, that's it for today's episode of Nerdstalgic. If you enjoyed this one, press the like button down below. If you haven't yet done so, also hit subscribe. That way you won't miss anything. On your screen right now, 2 more episodes of Nerdstalgic. You can check those out, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next one.